Hello, people. Thanks for joining me. We're talking about spiritual warfare. We're talking about the aspects of it. We're talking about the tools that we have. And one of the beautiful tools that we have is the tool of worship. We've spoken about prayer and worship just seem to go hand in hand, a hand in glove, in order to deal with the tactics of Satan. Now, Satan is no fool. We all know that. We don't want to give him too much credit, but he's a lot stronger than you. He's a lot more wise and clever than you will ever be. And he knows exactly when to attack us, does he not? But he's nowhere near as strong as God. He's stronger than us, but he's nowhere near as strong as God. So at certain times we've been looking at, we need to depend entirely upon the strength of God to match the wiles of Satan. But there are certain things that almost common sense says that we should do that I think we need to take note of. Now, one of the things that Satan very obviously does, and it's not hiding any tactics, is he will attack you at your weakest. He will attack you at a point of personal crisis in your life. And he'll whisper words of uncertainty into your ears. He'll whisper words that will say, God doesn't love you. If God really loved you, why would this happen to you? But we have the scriptures that teach us how to stand against this. But you have to make a choice. Now, you know the hero that we've been looking at a couple of days now is the hero of David. And we've seen how David just understood how to handle this particular tactic. One phase in his life, it was a low phase. Had an affair with Bathsheba. A child was born to them who got very sick. David was desperate that this kid should be healed. He was desperate that this kid should get well again. But David just prayed, and he prayed, and he prayed that God would deliver this child from the illness. But everybody was praying. David was mourning in sackcloth and ashes, and very seriously was asking God to save this child. The people in the palace were nervous of David because he was so sackcloth and ashes is a hectic thing to be in. And then one day the news broke that the kid had died. And so David was in the palace. The servants were debating who was going to tell David. No one wanted to tell him because they thought, if David's this bad and the kid is still alive and there's hope that he could live, he's this bad. Imagine how bad he's going to be when we tell him that his child has just died. But they told him. And we read this response in 2 Samuel chapter 12. Makes great reading. David, when he received the news that his child had died, he did this. He got off the ground where he was weeping and wailing. He washed himself. He put on clean clothes. He put on ointment. And then it says he went to the temple to worship God. At the point of your highest extremity, you want to spit in Satan's eye, worship God then. When you worship God at the time of your highest extremity, the time when nothing else seems that there's any hope, worship the Lord. Put on some good worship music. Start to sing to yourself. Start to read the scriptures. And I know it sounds so almost callous. It sounds like such a high expectation. But I want you to test this. When you genuinely go to God and say, Lord, obviously your will has been done. We're not praying into fresh air. We're praying with an element of knowledge. We have a sovereign God. Nothing happens to you outside of the will of God, as tough as that may be. So what the best response is to say, Lord, your will be done. No matter what happens, I will continue to worship you. And so David picked himself up, dusted himself off, and he went to the temple and he worshipped his God. Now, I don't want to make little of your pain. That would be cruel of me to do that, and I would never want to do that. But I do want to say this. There will come a time when you may feel, I need to do what David did. And I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. The hardest thing for me to say to you right now is it's time to worship. It's time to worship God for his sovereignty. It's time to worship God for, even in the midst of your lack of understanding, that God still loves you. So if that's you today, and I know I'm talking to some people that it is, and My heart goes out to you. I just share deep compassion and empathy for you. But it's time maybe to worship the Lord. Find a way to do that. I know it's the right thing to do. Have a good day. Bye-bye, people.